Welcome to English Conversation Cafe. Learn English through natural conversations.
I woke up this morning. I was tired. I made coffee. I spilled it. I changed my shirt. I was late. I ran to my car. My car didn't start. I called a taxi. The taxi was late. I arrived at work. My boss looked at me. I smiled. He didn't smile back.
Are you okay?
What? Yes, why?
That was the most stressful 30 seconds of my life.
Right? Did you notice anything weird about how I told it?
Everything stopped. Every single sentence just died. There was no connection between any of them.
Exactly. It was like reading a grocery list, but sadder.
A very emotionally devastating grocery list.
Now let me tell the same story again. Same morning, same disaster. But this time, I'm going to connect it.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I woke up this morning feeling exhausted. And even though I really needed that coffee, I ended up spilling it all over my shirt. That's why I was late. I had to change.
Already a disaster.
On top of that, my car wouldn't start, so I called a taxi. After that, I finally made it to work, and my boss was not impressed.
That was so much easier to follow.
Same story, same chaos, completely different feeling, right?
Night and day. And that is exactly what today's episode is about.
Welcome to English Conversation Cafe. I'm Haley.
And I'm Max. So glad you're here with us today.
Today, we're talking about how to connect your sentences in English, how to stop sounding choppy and start sounding smooth and natural.
You just heard it yourself. Same story, same words. But one version felt like a robot, and the other felt like a real person talking.
By the end of this episode, you'll have 6 specific connectors you can start using today. In real conversations, not essays, not exams, everyday English.
And you'll understand exactly when and why to use each one, which honestly makes all the difference.
If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps more learners find us, and it means a lot to us.
It genuinely does.
Now let's get into it.
So, Haley, do you remember the first time you really noticed how much connectors matter?
Actually, yeah. I was in college and I had this friend. Lovely person, really smart. But she was still learning English, and whenever she told a story,
Let me guess. And.
yes, everything was and. I went to the store and I saw my teacher and she looked at me and I didn't know what to say and I just stood there and
It's not technically wrong. You can connect everything with and. But it starts to sound very childlike.
it sounds like a 5-year-old telling you about their day.
I noticed the same thing growing up. My mom's side is American, so I was around a lot of international students. And the ones who sounded most fluent, it wasn't always about vocabulary.
Really? So it wasn't about knowing harder words?
Not at all. They just knew how to connect their ideas. Like, I was tired, so I left early, instead of, I was tired and I left early. One word changes the whole feel.
Because so tells you why they left. It shows the cause.
Exactly. And that's the key thing about connectors. They don't just stick sentences together. They tell the listener how the ideas are related.
Like, are these two things opposite? Is one the reason for the other? Are they in a sequence?
Right. And once you get that, grammar feels much less scary. Because you're not memorizing rules. You're just asking, what's the relationship between these two ideas?
I love that framing. Okay, so how do we organize this without making people's heads spin?
I like to think of connectors as having 4 simple jobs. And today, we're going to cover all 4.
A system. I love a good system.
All right, job 1, adding information. This is when you want to say, there's more. The simple version is and also. But let's go a level up.
Tell me.
One of my favorites is on top of that.
Ooh, Ooh, that one feels so natural. Like, the coffee was bad. On top of that, they charged me €4 for it.
That sounds like a real complaint.
It is a very real complaint. I fully stand by it.
On top of that means, and here's even more, especially when things are getting worse. It adds weight and emphasis.
It's like, and also, but with a little attitude.
Exactly. And then there's not only, but also. This one works really well when you want to highlight two things at once.
Like, she's not only a great cook, but also incredibly funny.
Perfect. It says, this thing is impressive, and there's more impressive stuff coming. It builds on itself.
It makes you sound very sophisticated. I approve.
Job 2. Contrasting. These are the connectors that say, wait, something unexpected is coming.
But is the obvious one.
The most common, yes. But let's go a little further. Even though is really powerful for this.
Because it shows something surprising. Like, even though I was exhausted, I stayed up until midnight.
Exactly. Even though says, logically, this shouldn't have happened, but it did. There's the surprise.
Surprise! I made another bad decision.
The eternal human story. And what's nice about even though is the flexibility. You can start the sentence with it or put it in the middle.
Even though it was raining, we went outside. Or, we went outside even though it was raining. Same meaning. Both sound natural.
Exactly. That flexibility is really useful when you're speaking and thinking at the same time.
What about however? Is that too formal for everyday conversation?
It depends. At the start of a sentence, it can sound a bit stiff. But in the middle, I wanted to go, however, I was too tired. That works fine in everyday speech.
Good to know. So, even though and but for casual conversation. However, when you want to sound a little more polished.
Exactly. Now, job 3, explaining why. This is where you show the connection between a cause and its result.
Because is the classic for this.
Because is great. But there's one connector I think is really underused by learners, and I love it.
Tell me.
That's why.
Yes. Oh, that's why is so satisfying to say.
It genuinely is. I missed breakfast. That's why I'm so hungry right now.
It closes the loop. Like, conclusion reached. Case closed.
And here's what makes it different from because. With because, the reason usually comes second. I'm hungry because I missed breakfast. But with that's why, you flip it.
I missed breakfast. That's why I'm hungry. The reason comes first, and that's why delivers the conclusion like a landing.
And in natural conversation, that flip can feel more satisfying. You build the picture first, then land the point.
I actually do that all the time without even realizing it. Huh.
That's a great sign. It means it's already natural for you. For learners, sometimes just hearing it explained clearly is enough. And then you start noticing it everywhere.
In movies, in podcasts, in everyday conversations. Once you know the pattern, you can't unhear it.
And that's the goal, until these feel completely automatic. Which I think means it's time for a challenge.
Okay. We are officially at the halfway point, and it is time for the choppy versus smooth challenge.
I already feel nervous.
Good. Here's how it works. I read a short story with 0 connectors. Pure robot mode. Max, your job is to rebuild it using what we just covered. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. I wanted to go to the gym. I was tired. I went anyway. The gym was closed. I went home. I ate pizza. I felt better.
Okay. Even though I was tired, I decided to go to the gym.
Good start.
However, when I got there, it was closed. So I went home. And then, after that, I ate pizza, which honestly made everything much better.
After that, he just slipped in one of today's expressions.
That was completely intentional.
Sure it was. But honestly, excellent. Even though however, so, after that. 4 connectors in 3 sentences. And the story actually breathes now.
It moves forward. You know what happened and why.
Okay, your turn. Give me a choppy story.
All right. I had a job interview. I was nervous. I arrived early. I sat in the waiting room. There were 5 other candidates. They all looked very confident.
Oh no.
My name was called. I walked in. I shook the interviewer's hand. I knocked over a glass of water.
No!
I never said it would end well.
Okay. I had a job interview and I was really nervous. So I arrived early. Not only were there 5 other candidates in the waiting room, but they all looked incredibly confident.
Good. Keep going.
After that, my name was finally called. I walked in, shook the interviewer's hand, and knocked over a glass of water.
You kept the ending.
The ending is sacred. But did you hear it? Not only, but also, so, after that. The whole thing went from a police report to an actual human experience.
A police report. That is exactly what it sounded like.
Suspect arrived early, sat in waiting room, made contact with interviewer, spilled water.
Okay. That is painfully accurate.
The choppy versus smooth challenge gets you every time.
All right, job 4. This one might be the most useful for everyday English conversation.
Lay it on me.
Sequencing. This is how you organize a story so the listener can follow each step. What happened first, what came next, and how it all ended.
So things like first, then, after that, finally.
Exactly. And the one I really want to highlight, because it's one of the most natural sounding connectors in spoken English, is so basically.
Oh, so basically is everything. I use it every single day.
It's incredibly useful. When you want to give someone the simple version of something complicated, you say, so basically, and then the short version.
Like if someone asks you about a complicated movie and you go, so basically it's about a guy who discovers his whole life is a simulation and has to choose between the truth and going back to normal.
Are you describing The Matrix right now?
I'm describing the plot of every film made in the last 25 years.
Not wrong. But so basically signals something really important. It tells the listener, here comes the simple version. I'm not going to make you work for this.
And it's also great when you need a second to think. Someone asks you something complicated in English and you go, so basically, your brain catches up while your mouth buys time.
It's a filler phrase that actually sounds intelligent.
As opposed to, which sounds like you're starting a lawnmower.
Let me give you a quick test. 2 versions of the same thing. I got home, I changed, I made dinner, I watched TV, I went to bed.
Snooze, that's a list of events, not a story.
Now, first, I got home and changed. Then I made dinner. After that, I relaxed in front of the TV. And finally, I went to bed.
That's a whole evening. You can actually picture it. There's rhythm. There's movement.
Same events, but now there's a timeline. That's what sequencing connectors do.
And finally, especially, it builds anticipation. It tells your listener, the end is coming. Lean in.
Finally, after an hour in the waiting room, they called my name. Whatever comes after finally, people are already leaning forward.
Even for the most ordinary, everyday things.
So, to put it all together, 4 jobs: adding, contrasting, explaining why, and sequencing. You don't need 100 different words. 6 or 7 solid connectors, used well, will completely change how you sound.
Because fluency isn't really about knowing more words. A lot of the time, it's about knowing how to connect the words you already have.
Exactly. Keep that thought. We're about to bring it all together.
Okay, we've got a question for you, our wonderful listeners.
When you tell a story or explain something in English, which connector do you reach for the most?
Is it and? Be honest. For most learners, it starts with and. Zero shame in that.
Or maybe you've already started using one of the connectors we talked about today. Drop it in the comments. We genuinely read them.
And if there's a connector you love that we didn't mention today, let us know. We'd love to hear it.
It might even make it into a future episode.
The more the merrier.
All right, time to slow things down. Let's head to the Cafe Rewind.
This is where we revisit the connectors from today's conversation, clearly and calmly, so they really stick. We've got 6 of them.
Number 1, on top of that. Use this when you want to add extra information, especially when things are stacking up or getting worse.
Like, the flight was delayed for 2 hours. On top of that, they lost my luggage. 2 bad things, building on each other.
Use it when you want to say, and there's even more. It adds weight.
Number 2, even though. This one shows contrast, especially when something surprises you or goes against what you'd expect.
Even though I set 3 alarms, I still woke up late. The alarms should have worked. They didn't. That's the surprise.
You can put it at the start or in the middle of a sentence. Both feel completely natural.
Number 3, that's why. This one connects a cause to its result. Give the reason first, then that's why delivers the conclusion.
I hadn't eaten all day. That's why I ordered the large pizza. Reason first, landing second. Very satisfying.
We are fully committed to how satisfying that one is to say.
Fully. Number 4, not only, but also. This adds information with extra emphasis. You're saying, this is impressive, and there's more.
She's not only incredibly talented, but also really hardworking. 2 great things, both highlighted. Use it when one fact just isn't enough.
Number 5, after that. Simple, clean, and essential for sequencing. It tells your listener exactly where they are in the story.
We finished dinner. After that, we walked along the river. No confusion, no one gets lost.
And number 6, so basically, your best friend when you want to summarize quickly, or when you need a second to collect your thoughts.
So basically, the plan is to leave early, avoid the traffic, and get there first. It tells the listener, here comes the short version. I'm making this easy for you.
6 connectors, 4 jobs, 1 much smoother English.
That is the tagline. That is 100% the tagline.
I'll put it on a mug.
Please do.
Okay, before we go, do you remember how I opened this episode? That terrible, choppy grocery list story?
The grocery list of emotional devastation.
Let me tell it one more time, the right way.
Go ahead.
So this morning, even though I was exhausted, I dragged myself out of bed to make coffee and spilled it all over my shirt. That's why I was late.
Already a disaster.
On top of that, my car wouldn't start, so I called a taxi. After that, I finally made it to work, and my boss was not impressed.
That was genuinely beautiful.
Same story, same chaos, but now it sounds like a real person told it.
That's the power of connectors. You don't change your story, you just show people how the pieces fit together.
And that's what fluency often feels like. Not harder words, just better connections.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. It genuinely means the world to us.
If this episode helped you, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the show, and it helps more learners find the cafe.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you soon!
Thank you for listening. We hope today's conversation helped you understand real English better. Subscribe and join us for the next episode.